What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to CNC Auto Works. If you haven't guessed it already, yeah, we're back to working on the Mustang again today. We're going to be trying to get this thing set on the ground. We're going to be installing a set of eBay coilovers today. As you can already tell, we've been plugging away at it, getting some things done. He's actually tightening the motor mounts right now. Oh, engine looks pretty good in there. And of course, as headers have it, we've been having some clearance issues on the driver's side with the header. Had that header off about 650,000 times. Trying to clearance that, never fails. I think I've only had one, maybe two sets of headers in my life just fall on something without trimming or denting or any of the unordinary. But here's the coilovers that we have. I'm going to kind of go through what's going on with these. These are a set of coilovers off eBay. They're about half price of a name brand set, Viking, QA1s, anything like that. These wound up actually coming in several pieces. They're probably in 10 different pieces. You have to put them together. I'm honestly not very fond of them. Here's all the top mount kit that goes on the strut towers. I'm going to go ahead and Loctite these because these actually screw on to the shock base. These pretty much started life as just a regular looking shock, and it's threaded top and bottom. You can see here that the top actually has a jam nut, and I'm not that scared of that because it is jammed. But the bottom doesn't have a jam nut, so I'm actually going to take that back off and Loctite both of them. And when I have that off, it's just I'll show you, but it's just a little threaded stud. This started out as just a shock. I guess it's actually rebuildable because the bottom actually screws out. You can rebuild it, but this threaded sleeve right here, that's exactly what it is. It's just a sleeve that slipped onto that shock, and there was a snap ring that it sets down on inside of there. And it's only got a single adjustment nut instead of two of them, one to adjust, one to lock. It's actually just got a little set screw that winds up going in this groove. You can see that groove right there. Supposed to line that set screw up and lock it in that groove. You can tell that the spring is not it's not a very big spring. It's not very tall, but it is really, really stiff. I don't know how it's going to hold the weight. I didn't have any kind of adjustment wrenches for this, so I tightened it as tight as I could before I ran out of oomph to get that tightened. I'm going to go ahead and take this bottom eyelet deal piece back off and Loctite that. And then we're going to start installing all the hardware and the strut rod tower brace to actually get this thing installed and sitting on the ground. Hindsight, yeah, I wish we would have went ahead and paid the extra money and got some Vikings or QA1s. But since we already got these, we can't return them. We're actually going to just go ahead and throw them on here and give it a shot. You can see here now that I got this apart how janky this pretty much is. I'm going to go ahead and Loctite that because I'm afraid that with all the vibration, it could possibly back out because this will turn. Now that I've got both coilovers kind of squared away, you can see the size difference. On the right there is the original coil spring for the car. On the left's the new setup. It definitely looks pretty puny. It kind of makes me nervous to even put them on here, but I don't think we can get the stance that we're looking for with the original stuff, even if I cut a few coils out of it. So we're going to go ahead and get to throwing this thing together and see what kind of ride height we get out of it. I'm going to start by putting the upper strut tower coilover mounts on top here. And to get our strut tower brace, we're actually going to have to lay it on top of these. just because it's aftermarket. It would have worked a little differently with the original ones, but the original ones are super flimsy. Now you can see I've got the strut tire brace up in here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the bolts that they supplied, which they did supply pretty good bolts. They're grade 8 bolts.
Are they? Are they really?
Well, they're marked to be grade 8 bolts.
That's just to make you feel better.
Well,
These are grade 1.
I don't think they made grade 1s, but
They do. In China they do.
I say this setup here is not ideal. The way they made this strut tire brace to go all the way around instead of like the original. I would prefer this bracket to be on top, but I'd have to trim so much of this that the strut tire brace would probably be ruined. And then they supply you a ring that goes in from underneath. You just slide that up on the bolts and then go ahead and put all your nuts. We're gonna go ahead and get that done and get this all bolted up, squared away, and then we'll start installing the coilovers. Well, I jumped a little ahead of myself. Went ahead and got it all bolted up. All we got left to do is tighten it. Tighten the top, that's all there is to it. Tighten the bottom. And then we're gonna get some wheels on this thing, which the wheels we got are just old junk wheels. They're not ideal. We're gonna kind of see where the front sits, get the right stance that we like. I don't know which way we're gonna have to adjust these. It's kind of hard to adjust them. Basically, you gotta hold this sleeve with a pipe wrench is what I've done, because it will turn. That's one thing I don't like about it. I don't like that it's not made into this body, because it will turn. You gotta hold it and then find you something else to turn that. I actually turned this nut by hand earlier to get it where it's at, but like I said, I ran out of gas. I couldn't get it anymore. Those springs are pretty stiff. And after we figure out where the front's gonna kind of sit, where we like it, we're gonna go ahead and address the back. We've actually got some drop blocks for a Ford Ranger we're gonna put on there. We did have the 2-inch drop springs. And after looking back at some pictures, it did drop it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, but you can clearly see that's still not enough. I mean, that'd probably be an okay stance for some people, but I believe in the lower the stance, the better it looks, so that's the direction we're gonna go. Now, I'm gonna get these finished tightened. This kit was pretty straightforward. Like I said, all the hardware was pretty good. I did wind up having to grind this bolt a little bit to get it to clear this strut tire brace. I didn't want to grind a notch in it. I thought it'd be easier just to grind the bolt, so that's what I did. We're gonna get this done and get it setting, and we're gonna get the stance right and see how she looks. Well, I think we about got the stance about where we like it. The coilovers went alright, but in typical fashion, we had an issue. The threaded sleeve actually wound up when the weight of the car hit it. It, I guess, smashed the thread to where it just galled it down. Wasn't able to adjust it. So, if you are thinking about a set of these eBay coilovers, just spend the extra money. Get some QA1s. It's the only reason we didn't go with the QA1s is because the bracketry was separate and it was going to wind up costing more. But right now we're kind of on the search for some more sleeves that'll fit these shocks. Want to be coilovers. We finally got the back down. I think we're probably going to have to raise it up maybe 1 inch, because the tires we're going to be running are a little taller than these. But it does look good down this low, I think. Might be just a little too low though to be real life drivable. Where's that sleeve at? Trash. Hopefully it's in the trash. Well, anyways, I didn't get to show you these shocks taken apart earlier. This is basically what they consist of. That sleeve sits down on this ring. And this is the spring and the top of the coilover. We We was trying to unthread them to make the car lower, and they kind of got hard and it galled, and it didn't go good. I wound up tearing it up pretty good with some channel locks. So we're on the search for one of these. I did a quick Google search. It looks like everything's 2-inch, and these are 1 5/8. You can kind of see that groove where that ring sits. Now that I've pretty much mangled this, trying to get it to move, what we was gonna do is just go ahead and bottom out the threads, and that was gonna be about the stance we wanted. And I didn't really care if we boogered up, but we got carried away after it froze up on us. It galled these cheap aluminum threads. I guess it tore a thread loose because it kind of messed up on the inside too. Not real sure, but for now, that's going to do it for this video till we can actually find one of these sleeves and figure out what the stance is really going to be like in the end. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you later.